All right, welcome friends here in Nanaimo and around the world. It's episode number 97 of the show right here on Shaw TV. My name is Matt Carter. Very happy to have you here with us today. Our musical guest right in behind me, Mr. Raymond Knight, who I and many people around here might know as a filmmaker or a painter as well as a musician. We're going to dive into the music side of him here, hear some tunes and interview a bit later on this hour. Also coming up on a very packed show, you know, the number of artists on Gabriola Island is quite stunning. So here's an opportunity for you to take a day and go meet some of them. Coming up is the 19th annual Thanksgiving Studio Tour. That's on Gabriola October 10th to 12th. And for a taste, we've got Gabriola artist Ranza Clark in the studio. She'll be chatting with Lewis Beck. I'm also happy to welcome the folks from the Nanaimo Science Sustainability Society, aka NS3, not to be confused with KRS-One or CB4, which is still Chris Rock's best movie as far as I'm concerned. Anyways, they're going to be here to talk about some very cool science programs they're running, including a drop-in science studio going on right now. Brian, who's going to adhere to all tenets of the scientific method in the preparation for his interview, he'll be speaking with educator Amy Oxler. From blinding us with science over to blinding us with magic, Magic Man Michael Berends is back in the house, getting ready to use your illusion too. Now, the Plumley family from Lanceville, fast becoming the royal family here of the show on Shaw TV. We're going to bring in the third member of the family to be a guest here. We're going to meet amazing Grace, who's fast becoming a cookie baron at a very, very young age and for a great cause as well. Find out why when Joanne interviews her and hopefully steals a couple of double chocolates for the crew. Joanne, you've been warned. Now, hunger, honestly, is actually a serious matter for many citizens here in the area, so we're very happy to put the focus on the Nanaimo 710 Club's second annual Run, Walkout, Hunger fundraiser taking place up at Westwood Lake. So how can you take part? Well, 710 board member Dennis Osterkamp is going to be here. Tell us how you can get your run on. While I just speak in run-on sentences, hey Todd, how are the Leafs doing? Lewis has also got his thing to introduce us to the Mid-Island Abilities and Independent Living Society. Society does some very valuable work around here, dealing with seniors and also folks with disabilities, and some of their programs are just as simple as a phone call. Find out more information from Society Executive Director Kathy Robson and Chair Jeff Bugel. But first, you know, we're pretty relaxed quite often here in the Shaw TV studios, provided, of course, our cameraman Howie doesn't show up in his full spandex suit to staff meetings again. But if you are feeling a little bit of stress, well, one of the ways you can battle that is with some nutrition. And with that, we're going to look at some green smoothies, which is also the nickname for Howie when he's in his full-body spandex suit. So you now have 20 seconds to get that out of your mind. You're watching the show right here on Shaw TV.
All right, hello everybody. This is Carmen Barkley. She is a holistic health coach, and I can't wait to try some of the smoothies she's going to prepare for us tonight. How are you doing, Carmen?
I'm doing great. It's great to be here, Joanne. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And I thought we could start off with all these wonderful, really fragrant, natural foods that we could start putting together a smoothie.
Wouldn't it be great to be able to put this smell out on the camera here so that people could really smell what this is like?
Engage more of the senses, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So this smoothie is pineapple, banana, hemp. Hemp is great for boosting the protein, and kale. And I've got kale here, which is really high in protein as well. You'll notice there's a lighter green kale and a dark red kale, and I've used both. And we have a little bit of mint in there because we're going to put that in the second smoothie that we're going to make. So.
Okay, just hearing the list of the ingredients, I have a number of questions. This, I believe, is the hemp hearts. Can you tell us a bit more about what that does, how that helps you?
Well, it helps, like I say, boost the protein in your smoothie. It makes it taste very yummy. And you can use it in a number of different things. I like to put it in smoothies along with chia, but this recipe doesn't have chia. And I'm always experimenting with green smoothies and making different recipes. It's lots of fun. And I bring this to workplaces as well, so that when I go in to do a workshop or some training in a workplace around nutrition, and definitely what Matt said was, to help relieve stress, and eating proper and good nutrition is definitely key.
Okay.
One of the key
We'll
components.
talk some more about the workshops that you'll be presenting in the second segment, but let's get back to the ingredients for a bit, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I'm really interested in finding out the differences about this kale.
Okay, so, well, as you say, you can smell it, and so the kale is organic. I use organic ingredients whenever I can get them because, one, I like to support organic growers, especially local, and if you're making something that's a healthy food, it's best to start with, something that is really healthy,
good
right?
for you.
So I want to show you a trick with kale, though. When you're getting kale ready to, we'll move this off here.
Okay.
So when you're getting kale ready, instead of chopping it up, you just grab it like this and you just push it along, and it comes right off.
Okay.
Like that. And so then you can chop it up and put it in
then we
in
can
the
just
blender.
put it in the blender
Absolutely,
here.
yeah. And so a lot of people ask me if they should be using one of these blenders or this blender or whatever. You can use whatever blender you want for a
Okay.
green smoothie, but if it's an older blender or it doesn't quite have the power, you just have to chop things up quite a bit smaller.
Okay.
But it still works.
So it would work with more of an industrial type of modern blender. It would work more easily without having to chop as finely.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So some of the smaller single-serving blenders are a little bit, you just put the.
Okay.
So yeah, it depends on the power of the machine, and then it's, So.
Okay. So we'll start adding that together to this one, if you can help me with the releasing of the lid there.
Some of them are a little complex.
Okay.
Joanne, yeah.
And then here I see you've got, of course, lemons, limes, and bananas. And I'm sure you can inform us about what the advantages are of including those as well in your smoothie.
Well, lemons and lime are really great for alkalizing your system, and they also help to get your digestive juices flowing so that it helps with digestion. And digestion is actually one of my favorite things to talk about, so don't get me started on that. We want to focus on the ingredients, right?
Okay, so
Right.
what we'll do is we'll hold that, and then at the second segment that we have tonight, Carmen will be back to talk some more about the ingredients and the workshops she offers in our community.
So actually, I'm misleading you, Joanne. I'm really sorry here. We actually start with the more fleshy. If you'd like to put that in, that'd be great.
Okay.
Just go ahead and dump the whole thing right in.
all right,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, perfect. So we start with the fleshy first because go ahead, put it all in.
Okay.
Because it starts to work, and then
Okay.
after with the greens on top, it pulls the greens right down, and so you're not having to take a spatula and get in there and,
Okay.
and muck around with it.
Okay, so we'll continue in the second segment with this because there's many great ingredients and I'm looking forward to testing out.
So that was mango.
And so is the crew.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Oh, and now, without further ado, I'm pleased to throw to Louis, who is going to talk about the Gabriola Art Festival.
Thank you, Joanne, and very interesting about those green smoothies. My wife and I are a great fan of them ourselves. We eat them regularly. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce Ranza Clark. She's an artist from the Island of Artists, also known as Gabriola Island. Is that correct, Ranza?
That's right.
How many artists are there on Gabriola, tell me?
Well, I can't give you a specific number, but the concentration of artists on Gabriola is extremely high. There was a study done, and I'm going to throw a little stats at you here. Back in 2011, it was organized by the Canada Council for Arts, and through the study they discovered that Gabriola is actually 6th in Canada for concentration of artists per local population. So once that information was out, I think the Gabriola Arts Council sort of ran with that, and it became a boost for their mandate, which is to help all of the artists on Gabriola reach their creative potential. So it's very hard to walk around the island without bumping into some sort of artistic creation or creator.
Well, I've seen some of your artworks on your blog, Ranza, and I must say I was very impressed and delighted with the whimsical nature of them. And here's actually one of my favorites here. This is called the butterfly whale, but it's a very beautiful work of art of yours, and I really like it.
That one's actually called Blue is What Made Me Beautiful. It's sort of a long title, and the title means a lot to me. It's about the whale itself being a symbol of the ocean and everything that is beautiful in nature. And there's a sort of positive and unknown side to the life of the whale in that picture, the fact that the butterflies are coming out of the spout. So I'm really happy with that one. It's an oil painting, that one.
Delightful, delightful. Well, now, could you trace for us your own pathway? I understand you started making miniatures and now you graduated to this, what you have here. Just trace for us briefly your own pathway as an artist?
Well,
Ranza?
I'm in my 50s now, so I've been doing art for a long time, since I was quite a young child. I started out with doing comic strips and that sort of thing. And then as an adult, I never became a professional artist. I've never done it as a living, but I've always done it, in my free time. And I've always had an urge to push on with it. So I've found that it's just something inside of me that has to come out. During the 90s, I had a greeting card company, and I sold greeting card art, which was small, whimsical paintings. I've come full circle around and have some again that have to do with the tour art. So I'll show you those again at the end here. I think we've got some pictures here. We've got a slideshow to show you some of my work. So
while those are running,
those
slides are running, Ranza, could you tell us about the Thanksgiving tour that's coming up on Gabriola?
Yeah, the Thanksgiving tour is, it's been around, this is its 19th year. So it's well established on the island. It's one of 3 major events that the Arts Council puts on annually. They have an arts festival in April, which is mostly to do with workshops for artists, putting on workshops showing people how to do what it is that they do. And then there's the theater festival in August, and now there's the Thanksgiving tour, which is October. So it's a 3-day tour. It takes place on the 10th, 11th, and 12th, which is Saturday, Sunday, Monday from 10 till 5. And guests can come to the island, drive around, or take the Gertie, which is the local bus, and visit up to 59 studios. You probably wouldn't get around to all of those, so you'd want to map out where it is you want to go. There is a brochure guide, and the brochure guide is able to show you where you can choose where to go. And there's a map inside as well. So I'm not sure if they're showing the pictures right now, but this is the map. So you can see where you can get going and figure out where it is you'd like to visit. So
now, you're a part of this tour. I imagine people can come and see your artwork if they want to do that.
They can, yeah. I'm new to the tour this year. I have a more humble little cottage that people can come to visit. The nice part of the tour is that it's very diverse. You can go to studios that are quite massive with a lot of work spread out and a nice food spread and things to see. You can watch the artist at work. Mine is a little bit of a smaller place and set away in the woods, and I'll have a little side cabin with my cards for sale there as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, if people want to get in touch with you,
well, I'm listed in the brochure. I'm number 6 in the brochure, and my contact info is in the brochure. So that's one way to get a hold of me. And there you go. So it's all of the artists are listed in here, and it's easy to find us right in here. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, listen, Joanne, it was really nice having you on the show. There's another little sample of your work here. I'm just going to show that briefly before we head off. This is another one of your works, Joanne, and. I'm sorry, not Joanne, it's Ranza.
That's okay, it's an otter. That one's an otter, it's an oil on wood.
Very nice, yeah. Very nice. Okay, many thanks, Ranza, for coming and joining us here on the show. Now I'm going to throw it over to Matt and to our musician, Mr. Knight.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much, Lewis. Yes, from day to night indeed. Do you want to, again, big shout out to all the artists over in Gabriola. Go over, meet Ranza, meet other folks. A great little tour there on, you're going to be really astounded by the art over there on Gabe. Anyways, from art over to music, introducing our musical guest again, and really calling you the musical guest really isn't big enough. Filmmaker, producer, painter, much more. Raymond Knight, welcome to the show.
Thanks a lot, Matt. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, really glad to have you down here. Now, real quick, the background, originally from Powell River, but what brought you down to Nanaimo?
Yeah, well, I grew up in Powell River and, ran rampant there during my young years and experimenting with every different kind of art form I could imagine. And then I settled on coming to Nanaimo to take the jazz music program here. And I think that's where I met you even a couple of times. And then I quickly moved back into doing some painting and then took the digital media class and then just right back into filmmaking. It just kind of whirlwind back into that. So yeah.
Exactly. So what is it about, so all these different types of media you get involved in, do they all inspire you sort of in the same way, or is there something different that really sort of fires you up about each one?
Not. It's all the same to me. It's all storytelling, and I think filmmaking is the ultimate form of that. And when I was going to school, doing music and really getting into like score writing, and then saying, hey, maybe I want to get back into film and the visual aspect and acting and everything, and I was just like, holy, this is where I need to be. This is what I've been training for,
Yeah, nice. Yeah, nice to really find your place.
Yeah.
And I know you've done a number of music videos for bands in the area, but you've also recently, sort of big project has been working on a feature film.
Yeah.
And I guess, so you started that back in 2012. So tell us a little bit about the name of that project and where you're at with it right now.
Yeah, it's called Beyond Control, and we're finished the filming and the edit of everything, and right now we're doing the scoring of the soundtrack, which is going amazing. We spent the last 2 weeks laying down all the bed tracks, and then this upcoming week we're laying down some horns and a string quartet and a choir, and we're just going to do the whole full meal deal and just see what happens.
No, again, so this got this right. So you're the director of the film.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you actually appear on camera in any of the scenes?
Yeah, I do actually. I make a guest appearance. It was more like I couldn't really find another actor to do it, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah. So I've written the music, performed the music, director of photography. A lot of the times it was just me, the camera, and the actress, and just spending the last 2 years just trying to make it happen, with no money.
Yeah. What's the definition of a feature film? Is it just simply length compared to short films?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's anything over 50 minutes, but the movie's an hour and a half. It's 90 minutes long.
You're hoping to have everything done by the end of the year? Is that sort of the soft goal?
So at the end of November, I'm hoping to get most of the final mix done and then get it out to film festivals in the spring. And unfortunately, people around here aren't going to be able to see it until it's in festivals because they really want that premiere status from you. So it's kind of unfortunate, but you'll have to run down to Victoria or Vancouver or wherever it's happening.
Nice. All right, so you've got a feature film almost done. You've played in band. You've produced and sold paintings. I did read online somewhere that one of your goals at one point was to go for your Masters of Fine Arts. Is that still one of your long-term goals?
Yeah, for sure. I think that I just kind of quit school because there was too much art happening, and I started making a living at what I was doing, and that kind of seemed like the whole point of going to school, and that hasn't really stopped me. So maybe one time when it feels like it'll be fun, maybe I'll go back and do that. Yeah.
All right, final question for you. Just a word for young artists out there who might be getting involved in music or filmmaking. How do they become a success? How do they become like you?
Have a lot of fun. Just have fun. It's your playground, and the more you have fun, the better you're going to get at it, and the more opportunities you're going to have to keep doing it and to make money. So just never ever stop playing.
Perfect. All right, let's get some tunes. Last quick thing, where can folks find you on Facebook, I guess, to find out more about your productions?
Yeah, I have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Knight Studio Productions, and that follows my musical stuff and mostly my film work and everything. And yeah, check that out.
Perfect. All right, let's get to it. So the next song is not called Gaffer, but the next song is called Grip.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Raymond Knight here, live on the show on Shaw TV.
So long I cannot feel the way you are making me beg for the teas, and my sympathetic views make use in your excuses. I know you'll say I told you so. Whoever you are, you're holding me back now with that grip on my life, telling me to back down someday, somehow, some way to push it back. It's calling me now, it's pulling like gravity. I'm longing to come right out and tell you just how I feel. Both you and I know that cannot be. The more I think about it, it's clear to me that whoever you are, you're holding me back now with that grip on my life, telling me to back down someday, somehow, some way to push it back. It's calling me now, it's pulling like gravity. And if I had to stay this way much longer, I would run away, fight this overwhelming feeling every time it comes to me. Hurts so good and it feels so bad when I push back all the emotions I've planned. And it was just a ploy. I'm slipping right out of love and falling in fear. I'm slipping right out of love, falling in fear. Whoever you are, you're holding me back now with that grip on my life, telling me to back down someday, somehow, some way to push it back. It's calling me now, it's pulling like gravity.
Once again, that was Raymond Knight with Grip. I have with me today someone who is with the drop-ins at the Science Studio, which is located at Departure Bay Eco School, Amy Oxler. Amy, can you tell me a little bit about what goes on at the Science Studio?
So as you mentioned, we have a drop-in available for the Science Studio, which allows families and their children to come in and kind of play with all of our hands-on science activities, which range from, we have over 2,000 Kiva blocks, we have an 8-foot marble wall, microscopes, and it's always changing, so there's just a variety of different things that the kids can play with for as long as they want.
You brought on a couple little interesting items, and let's look at first this large wind tunnel, which is, I guess, standing on a fan. So can you tell us what concept this talks about?
Right,
or
so yeah,
it demonstrates.
Like you said, this is our wind tunnel, and we actually have several. We have a bigger one at the studio as well, and this kind of teaches kids in an inquiry-based way about how flight works and how surface area and weight affect how objects are able to fly.
Okay.
So I brought along a few different samples that we have of things that are available at the studio. A lot of things we have are things that we kind of are reusing or just think would be cool, and a lot of times the kids just kind of pick random things. So like for this example, we have coffee filters, this is a pool noodle, and then we fasten everything with these felt or pipe cleaners. They don't sound very well, but they're good enough for now. So these are all just things kids have made and just reusable items. So they kind of just put them in and then just see what happened, and then they find like, oh, if I just put this in, that goes up faster, and this one works more like a parachute, so that should probably go up better. And
oh, we're firing them out of here. Okay.
yeah, they just all sorts of different things and materials, and kids spend like sometimes half an hour to an hour just playing with this alone, even though there's so much more
So
things.
they can put together their own items at the studio.
Yeah, exactly.
And put that in. Great.
Yeah.
That's an interesting concept, and I can imagine what it would be like with a bigger unit as well.
Yeah, exactly. And if we have several going, and we have like a whole table of different variety of materials that they can use and see what happens.
Okay. And one of the other things they do is play around with a bit with electronics, and we have a sample here. And this looks like this is a piece of Lego or a mechanical
exactly.
Lego?
So at the Science Studio, as well as drop-in, we also have workshops. So one of our things that people can sign up for is the Lego Robotics Club. So this is a sample of what some students have made. So it is all built by the kids, and then they can program it as well. So this guy is the gyro boy, and he kind of just balances on his own. And he should be able to move, yeah. And there's all sorts of different things they can build with these. It's just one example. He should stop if something gets in the way, but sometimes not so much. And then he goes like that. But this is one example, and there's so many different types of things they can build.
And these are built by the kids themselves?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a more mature one. This is kind of the higher end, but we start with more simple things that even like 5-year-olds can build and then even program on a computer.
So the details of when people can drop in, and this is not just for kids in the school, this is for the whole community?
Exactly. This is for anybody that wants to come and have fun with science.
And they should look at your website?
Yeah, exactly. So we have a schedule that we keep current up on there for various times. We have it during the week as well as every Saturday from 9 till 12 is a good time for people.
And that
usually.
website again is nanaimoscience.org. Let's look at a little more basic electronics, and this is a card, and it looks like just an everyday art card that you might make, but can you hold that up a little bit?
So
Great.
This is something we make at one of our workshops. This is a paper circuit, and we get the kids to build these so that they kind of create a circuit to make the LED lights work, and by doing so, they are able to figure out how to make it work so that it's a continuous circuit to keep everything going, and then when they close that up, it should light up. It's kind of finicky, it's not perfect, but they get the idea of kind of basic electricity as well as just having fun creating things.
Wonderful. And again, Departure Bay Eco School is located right on Departure Bay Road, right down by the bay.
Exactly. Yep, and that's our interim science center for now. We may be moving, hopefully, to a more permanent space in the future.
And this is all put on by what's called the Nanaimo Science and Sustainability Society?
Yep, exactly. So the Nanaimo Science and Sustainability Society, or NS3, offers the drop-in as well as we do mobile programming. We have different events throughout the year, and there's always things going on. So definitely check out the website or our Facebook page for updates on that.
And it's not just the drop-in programs. You have registered programs throughout the summer and clinics and workshops throughout the year as well.
We always have something going on, so it's definitely worth it to have a look and see what.
So if you have kids that are interested in the whole area of science, electronics, this is a way to pique their interest. Get them involved in the Science Studio. And it's drop-in at the Science Studio. Look it up on their website. And we're going to head over to Michael, who's got some magic.
Hey everybody, we are here on the show right here on Shaw TV. Michael Berends here. It's nice to be back after the summer break, and it's time for another magic moment. I'm going to bring on our host, Matt Carter. Whoa! Chaos!
That's going to come out of the Shaw TV budget.
Hey Matt, good to see you.
Good to see you. Welcome
Good
back.
to see you. Good. Hey, you know what? We're going to do a little bit of a card trick here. One of a magician's best friends is a deck of cards.
All right.
And what we're going to do is this. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to get you to run down here. So I'm just going to run down. Just tell me when to stop at any time. You ready, Matt?
Okay. Stop.
Right there, you happy there?
Yep.
Want to change your mind?
Nope.
You like your mind the way it is?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Take a look at that card, Matt.
Should I show the camera there?
Absolutely. Show the camera the card.
All right. Got it.
The 3 of hearts, very good. Place that down. Let's take a look at it. It's okay if we all see it. Now, have you ever heard about voodoo?
There was a good bar in Nanaimo back.
It was a good bar, yeah. No, voodoo, like a voodoo doll. You poke things into a doll. So voodoo is basically you have a doll that looks like somebody, and if you poke it with a pin and do stuff to the doll, the same thing happens to the person. Well, we're going to do a little bit of voodoo with the 3 of hearts.
Okay.
The 3 of hearts has another card that looks like it. It's its mate. It's not quite the same, but it looks a lot like it. Now, I want you to notice that that card's face up.
Yep.
And the rest of the deck is face down. But if we do a little bit of voodoo, let's take a look. Because in the deck, there's one card that's face up. And that's the 3 of diamonds. That's the mate to your 3 of hearts. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I know, it's a little weird. We're not done yet, though, Matt.
All right.
So with a voodoo doll, we normally take them and we poke pins in them and we mutilate them and that kind of thing. Well, we're actually going to take your 3 of hearts and we're going to actually do a little something to it, just like this. Look at that.
It's a family show.
I know. We hurt the 3 of hearts. But it's voodoo. Like I said, it's voodoo. If we take a look inside of the deck, let's take a look. And inside the deck, one card.
What?
That's torn, and look at that. It's the mate to your card. So far, so good, huh?
Unless you're the 3 of hearts or 3 of diamonds.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, here's the weird part. Let's take a look at the backs. Just touch the back for me. Yeah, so there's one. Let's touch the back of the other one. Very good. Looking good. This time, we're going to mutilate a little more. This time we're actually going to burn the card that you chose. Here goes.
Turn off the sprinkler stats.
That's right, a little bit of flame, and I want you to take a look at the bottom of that.
Burnt.
Looks like we burnt it. But here's the cool part. Do you think we did a little bit of voodoo magic here today, Matt?
I don't know how you could.
Here's the moment of truth. Let's take a look. You ready?
Oh!
There we go. And that's it for a little bit of voodoo magic right here on Shaw TV. I'm going to give it back to Matt. Talk to you later, Matt. Enjoy.
Wow.
See you guys later.
Come on, make some noise. Michael Berends, come on. That is ridiculous, and it kind of looks like my cooking. Anyways, yes, you are watching the show here on Shaw TV. So far, we've talked about smoothies and health. We've talked about Gabriola artist Ranza Clark and the annual Gabriola Art Tour. We've met our musician and filmmaker extraordinaire, Raymond Knight. We've dropped in on some drop-in science classes with NS3, and we're just wowed, of course, with our magic moment with Michael Berends. Coming up later on in the show, we're going to meet Grace, who is attempting to get across the world using cookies. Very, very cool. We're going to find out details of the Nanaimo 710 Club's second annual Walk, Run, Out, Hunger fundraiser. We're also going to learn about the Mid-Island Abilities and Independent Living Society, and we're also going to get back to some more smoothies with health nutrition coach Carmen Barclay. Before we get back to the rest of the show, though, quick note, I got some information from the United Way Central and North Vancouver Island. Speaking of films, we've talked about films with Raymond earlier. They're putting on an event called Starlight, which is an all-night film festival taking place at Galaxy Cinemas in Central Nanaimo. This is a fun all-night event of movies, popcorn, pizza, and Xbox for high school-aged youth, which in the case of my buddy Dave Dirt was 14 to 23. Anyways, the movies they'll be showing on that night will be 21 Jump Street, Anchorman 2, Bridesmaids, Grown Ups 2, White House Down, and World War Z, all rated at 14A. And basic for teens to go and check this out. All the proceeds are benefiting the United Way's Community Fund, supporting local families, teens, adults, and seniors. This event is starting on Friday, October 9th at midnight and going all night, ending at Saturday, October 10th at 6:30 a.m. Tickets for that are $20 and include the movies, popcorn, pizza, and vids. So get your tickets or for more information, check out the United Way Central North Vancouver Island website, uwcnvi.ca. All right, time back for a little more music. So we're going to send it back over to Ray Knight with a track called Lockdown. You're watching the show right here on Shaw TV.
Show me what lies ahead. A time when I have died and gone. So scared was I to look before that my future has been lost in the past. And I have found that I am to blame. It's my fear of alone. All of this time I thought it was me. It's you that I'm fearing for, and a life less complete. Death knocks, I will lock down these feelings of anxiety. When death comes, I will not frown. Won't sigh, weep, or mourn or cry. And I have found that I am to blame. It's my fear of being alone. And all of this time I thought it was me. It's you that I'm fearing for, and a life less complete. death comes, I will not frown. I won't sigh, weep, or mourn or cry. And I have found that I am to blame. It's my fear of being alone. All of this time I thought it was me. It's you that I'm fearing for a life less complete.
Thank you, Raymond, for another lovely performance. And I'll get started in my interview in just a second here. It's just really good. This is chocolate chip cookies like you haven't tasted them before. And I'm really pleased to introduce the baker, the entrepreneur who's putting this all together for us this evening, Grace Plumley. How are you doing, Grace?
Good, Joanne. How are you?
Good, good. Especially good after tasting those cookies. Now, I hear that you've got a real interesting reason why you've become an entrepreneur and you're doing all this work, baking all these cookies and selling them.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to raise money to go on a trip to Europe, Nice, France, Cadiz, Spain, and a day in Morocco next June.
Okay.
So,
And how long have you been working at this?
I've been working at this since February, and so far I've raised over $3,000, and I need to raise $5,000. So these cookies are really...
And perhaps amongst the people in the studio, there's some donors as well, eh? Yeah. Especially if they want to try the cookies later on, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and can you tell me a bit more about how this has been going for you? Where have you been selling the cookies?
Yeah, so I've been selling these cookies at the Lanceville Market from 1:30 to 4 every Sunday, except for this Sunday. And it's been going really well. I've been sharing a tent with Lulu Bee Creations. Her name is Chandra Mays. She's great. She made my apron. She's done all this other stuff for me. And everyone's really supportive, and they're buying all the cookies, and they always say that they love them. So it's good. Yeah.
And as Halloween approaches?
As Halloween approaches, I am making pumpkin spice cookies and other tasty treats.
Okay,
so, yeah.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. And I hear that with all this work that you've been doing, you've been actually multitasking and working in other ways to help fundraise for this trip, right?
I work one night a week at Riso Foods down in Lanceville.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the dishwasher, so wash the dishes. It's fun though. Everyone's really nice.
Okay, so you got a lot of support in the community.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
I also babysit and I collect bottles, so if you have any bottles, I'll take those. I've cleaned houses. I've done all this other stuff.
Well, that's very admirable of you to take on all these tasks. I really think that you'll have no problem in accomplishing your goal and getting to go to visit to these places. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about the cookie flavors you've got here?
Yeah, so today I have my ginger molasses cookies. I also brought double chocolate. They're very good, I think. That's what people said. And I also brought chocolate chip, the ones that you
The ones that I've been delighting in
Yes.
tasting. Well, that's really, really good. And I noticed there's 2 bags of double chocolate, so double chocolate. So everybody's going to enjoy that who's a chocoholic here tonight as well. So in terms of what has been going on for you with the sales, your next time you'll be selling at the Lanceville Market, you said earlier was October 4th?
October 4th,
Okay, okay. So you'll have a lot of ongoing sales with that, and hopefully leading up to Christmas as well, that people can buy edible gifts for Christmas. It's always something that's really good for people to indulge in. And you can let people know about where your upcoming presentations of sales, etc., are on your Facebook page, correct?
Facebook page, Grace's Cookies,
Grace's Cookies. So that's what your Grace's Cookies, you're baking dough to make dough.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, that sounds like one smart cookie to me, Grace. So I hope that you have excellent sales going on till you reach your goal, and that you have a wonderful, wonderful time when you go to Europe next year.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you. And so now we are going to throw to let me see here. Brian again is going to be coming back, this time with Mr. Dennis Ostenkamp, to talk about a run walk.
Thanks, Joanne. I have with me Dennis Osterkamp, who's with the 7 to 10 Club. You're a director on the board, Dennis?
I'm one of the board directors, yes.
Good. And we're going to talk about a fundraising event that's coming up, and it's a little related to food, a little more basic food and basic needs in terms of some of the people in Nanaimo. And your event, and I'm just going to hold this up, it's the Run Walk Out Hunger in Nanaimo.
That's right.
And that's going to happen Thanksgiving Sunday, which is an interesting day because we're all thankful for the food we get, but there's many people in Nanaimo that get up every morning and don't have a lot of food available to them.
Right. So this is our second annual fundraising event of Run Walk Out Hunger in Nanaimo, and both times it's been on Thanksgiving weekend. And we picked that weekend because, just what you said, people focus on food and feasting and plenty, and there are a lot of people that struggle to achieve those kind of enjoyments. So we're having this second annual Run Walk Out Hunger fundraising event on Thanksgiving Sunday, October 11th.
Let's talk a little bit about your organization, because you've been on before, but it's always good to recap a bit. You've been in existence some 30 years now?
30 years. We celebrated our 30th anniversary this year that the club has operated.
And you've been in various locations. You're currently located at the Community Services Building?
That's right, on Purdue and Fitzwilliam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how do you get your operating funds? How do you get the money together to put this food out for breakfast for people in Nanaimo?
First of all, we get about 1/3 of our annual operating funds from the BC Gaming Commission, and that gets us through 1/3 of the year. The rest of the year we rely on fundraising initiatives by the club and donations. And I have to say the community of Nanaimo have never let us down. They've been very generous in donations, and we've always been able to make it through the year, never with anything to spare, but we have enough money to get through, and a lot of that is by donations and other small grants that we're able to get from time to time.
So this is a key event for you, this one in the fall, because I'm sure it leads into funding to get ready for Christmas.
That's right.
Like that.
This is our difficult time of year right now. The last 3 months of the year are always difficult, and we struggle for funding these 3 months every year. And so this is a major event for us to fundraise some money to get us through to the end of December.
Just for you setting your calendars, I just want everyone to realize this is Sunday, October 11th, and it's going to start at 10 a.m. The details are on the 7 to 10, Nanaimo710club.com website, I'm sure.
That's right.
And it's a chance for you to get pledge forms, raise money, really help an excellent organization. Something that really no one else is doing in Nanaimo is providing great breakfast and bag lunches.
That's right.
For those who in need of that food in Nanaimo.
That's right. And Brian, they can go to that website and register for the run, and then come to the walk that day, participate with us, bring their pledges or donation, whatever they wish, and we'll be happy, and it'll make a lot of people in Nanaimo happy.
Something to do Thanksgiving Sunday morning before you partake of your turkey. Let's raise some funds for the 7 to 10 Club Run Walk Out Hunger in Nanaimo. Let's head over to Lewis.
Thank you, Brian. Tonight I have two very special people here with me. They are not only co-founders of the Mid-Island Abilities Independent Living Society, they are newly married. Jeff and Kathy Bogal, welcome to the show.
Hi, Lewis. Thanks for having us.
An awful good of you to join us. Hi. So your organization, as I understand it, it reaches out to lonely, often isolated seniors.
Yes.
And it also helps them meet the challenges of life as seniors are often by themselves. When life changes for them, they're often by themselves, and you work with them. Can you give me a little sense of the work that your organization does in detail?
Well, one of our major programs of our society is called the Nanaimo Senior Visiting Program, and it's an outreach service that extends to seniors that don't have the human contact, and they lose that social network, and that social network is lost by a lot of different reasons. A lot of times it's mobility issues. They don't have family or friends nearby, and so it's easy to become isolated and stay at home. So it's hard to get out for a lot of reasons. So our society, what we do is we reach out to them via telephone calls. Our volunteers call them regularly, and it starts to they start to get an extended family. So our volunteers call them regularly, we go visit, and then we also do outings. So our outings allow them to get out of the house, meet peers, meet people their own age, and a lot of times transportation's quite often an issue. And so this allows them to have the social contact in the community. It's an amazing program to allow them to meet other people. Often they don't get that get out of the house because of this isolation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's very, very important.
Yeah.
Could you, Jeff, could you share with us, as a very poignant beginning to your organization, how did it begin? Tell us the story about that.
Yeah, it's actually quite fascinating. In Winnipeg in 1978, Sister Rosaline Dunn came across a senior, or was called to a senior's home, and the lady had passed away. And she got her diary, and in her diary for the last 39 days, the only entry was no one called or visited today. And that really struck a chord with Rosie, and she decided that that would not happen if she had any say in it. And so in Winnipeg, she started a society called Phone a Friend, and that helps to reduce the isolation for some seniors, helped give people phone calls, you know, reaching out, that kind of thing. And she moved to Nanaimo in 1980. And in 1980, she started at the Ecumenical Center here in Nanaimo, she started the Nanaimo Telephone Ministry. And their mandate was to reduce the isolation of shut-ins, of seniors and that kind of thing. And so the society moved along and plugged along until it was really quite a going concern. In 2012, the Nanaimo Telephone Visiting Society, as it was known then, approached us at Mid-Island Abilities and asked if we would take over them and you know, help them grow greater and to become more effective and help them with a better business focus. And so we took them on as our flagship program as the Nanaimo Seniors Visiting Program.
So I'd like to hear a success story. I think you have one to share. Could you?
We do. We have a lot of stories to tell because it is a great program. And having people live independently, we want to keep them at home longer in their own homes. And so one of our ladies in particular, there's so many stories, but this one in particular, her daughter lives in Australia and she comes down twice for 2 months at a time, which is pretty wonderful. And she gets to see sort of the progress of her mother as she ages. And when we saw her last year, I mean, this lady's been a part of our society for a few years, her daughter says, you know, I really see a difference in Mom. She says, you know, she's not quite so quiet anymore. She's a little bit more outgoing. You know, she talks about the people that she's met and the events that she's done. And she says, you know, I really do see her as, you know, a lot more outgoing. She says, you know, I was always concerned that she was a little bit quieter, and as every year that she came to visit her, you know, she saw that big difference because she wasn't there every day to see her. So the program is great, and the testimonials let us know that our program's working.
I'm very impressed to hear this, and I want to congratulate you both and your organization for this wonderful work that you're doing. If people want to get in touch with you, if they want to volunteer, or if they need a volunteer to contact them, how would they get in touch with you?
Well, our programs are free, and so we're always encouraging community to call if they need this service. You can contact us at our office, which is 250-756-9455, and our email, our website is our www.info@midislandability.org. Thank you.
Jeff and Kathy, thanks so much for joining me on this show, and congratulations with your excellent work.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Mm-hmm. And now I want to show it over to Joanne and the green smoothie lady.
Hi again, it's Carmen. Once again, we're back together here to continue the assembly of another great smoothie, and we've got one that's already been prepared that we're going to try, and we suspect we might have to share with the host guy at the end of the segment, but we're not.
Oh, so you're
we're going to try to pull that
okay,
one.
right.
Yeah. I've heard a rumor about that.
Okay.
Anyways, what has been great is the quality of these beautiful foods that are so simple in their own form, but together form all these great tastes in the smoothie. I've had a sip and it's just wonderful. And we started assembling another recipe of yours. We started with mango and strawberries. And I was wondering if you could tell us about the benefits of mango in the smoothie. Besides the great flavor.
Yeah, well, mango and strawberries, of course, they help to make the smoothie sweeter. And so a lot of people are afraid of the green because it's kind of crunchy and it's not really that sweet. And it's, you know, so so for beginner green smoothiers, it's better to have some sweetness. And our body knows what to do with the natural sugars that comes from fruit. So that's what we use to start to make the transition from not drinking our green smoothies. And the reason that we want to drink green smoothies is because it's a really easy way to get in our greens, and we should be eating a lot of greens every day, a lot more than what we are eating, right? So that's basically the properties, the reason that I'm using the fruit in the green smoothies is to make them so delicious. And then after people start to get used to making green smoothies and start to play a bit more, then they start crowding out so much fruit and using more greens, and it's really a great way to get super nutrients into your body. And yeah.
And you speak with a voice of experience now as a holistic health coach. I should say. I know that you offer workshops throughout the community about this. Can you tell us more about the upcoming workshops that you have scheduled in Nanaimo?
Absolutely, yes. I host my workshops at Northridge Health Performance Center, and that's where my office is. And I've got one coming up in October, on October 15th, on liver health. And then in November, I have one, it's called Bittersweet, and it's kind of the sugar story, and it talks about how we got to where we are with sugar now, and if anybody's wanting to reduce the amount of sugar that they're taking in, then that would be a great one to come to. And then after that, we've got one in November on managing stress. And yeah,
with
sometimes
smoothies?
No, not with smoothies, but yeah, sort of. Well, no, with nutrition and with lifestyle, and I have some really great ideas around how to manage stress and why you would want to manage stress, right? So yeah, so.
And you had mentioned before we went to tape here that there was a contest you had planned as well.
Oh, thank you, Joanne. Yes, we got a green smoothie contest. So it ends October 8th. So if you've got a favorite green smoothie recipe, you can send it in. There's a $25 gift card and a book on healthy home. And you're going to share your green smoothie with Matt? Awesome.
I'm going to take a sip first. So.
Here, Matt, why don't you have a try?
I'll gladly. And I mean, you talk a lot about involving stress. I know our director, Todd Jones, is stressed every time I walk in the front door here. So I'm going to recommend he has a couple of smoothies, and this looks pretty darn good.
It tastes and smells wonderful. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah.
A green stash. Movember's coming up. That could work.
Do this. I got to admit, too, I love making smoothies at home, and a little while ago, someone suggested try putting spinach and other greens in it. And of course, the first thought is, well, that's going to really wreck the flavor, but not at all. In fact, it's a real nice building block to the smoothie overall. And like you said, it's just nice walking out the door in the morning. I've already got a bunch of my greens. I've already got my fruits in my daily intake. So yeah, I'm a big fan. So
super.
Yeah, so thank you so much for being here and for showing us.
Submit a recipe to the green smoothie contest. You can go to our website and get the information there and submit
that website again is?
It's integrativehm.com.
Perfect. Awesome. Thanks so much. All right, thank you so much for being here, Joanne. Thanks so much for putting this together and for stepping up and sharing the smoothie with me. I really appreciate it. And I got to say, all these healthy fruits and vegetables, especially now as we get closer to winter, when the weather is just not going to be quite as good, quite starts off harsh with a big kale storm. And then, it does get a little bit calmer, ends up with snow peas. So, snow peas, okay, unless you get buried, or if you're on a farm and you get strawberried. All right, anyhow, with really good nutrition, it helps you. You're able to flex your muscles, and then you can dance to like Fats Domino, like Ginger Astaire. And I got to admit, it's been Grace having Grace here today. Well, poor Howie's vomiting over there. It's kind of weird. Anyways, it's great to have Grace here because, a lot of people think that youth are not interested in good food and nutrition. But I tell you, these smoothies are very much protein. Very much protein. All right, especially, have you heard about those young... Now Todd's barfing. All right, have you heard about those young weightlifting triplets out of Greece? They're called the omega-3s. And actually the strongest of them, his name is Carbo Omega, and he's actually a marathon champion, which of course raises the question, how does carbohydrate So really, anyways, now, aren't you glad the show's coming to an end here? So hold on a second, Vitaminutes. All right, we're going to say thanks to our guest host, volunteers behind the camera, in front of the scenes. You can also find us, the show on Shaw TV on Facebook, facebook.com/The Show on Shaw. You can also get information for the show on our Twitter page, and also look for the Shaw TV Nanaimo YouTube page as well for previous episodes and much, much more. Hey, if you want to volunteer here on the show or any of our productions here at Shaw TV, just send a note to our volunteer coordinator, Melissa Hall, at melissa.hall@sjrb.ca. Or if you want to be on the show or know someone who should be, just drop a line to our executive producer, Kate Bergen. I will get this straight now that they've switched all these roles around. Kate.bergen@sjrb.ca is the address you want to send it to. I want to send a big shout out to our new pizza sponsor, Mambo's Mambo Pizza, right in downtown. Look at that, there's some. A grand slice from the good folks in Mambo downtown. So thank you guys so much. And to finish off the show, one more song from my man Raymond Knight. We're going to hear a track called The Fire. Thank you so much for watching the show right here on Shaw TV.
My blame all on you, yes, all on you. Feelings that I cannot control. I'm just trying to find a way through. No one can help me, so don't you even try. I'm all alone, yes, all alone. Hold my hand straight through the fire, losing all feeling, blistering and burning. But I cannot find a way to help this feeling find a meaning. I could just have looked away, but it's biting, teething, and I'm barely breathing. Plenty of chances to find a way out, to take control, but I don't want to do it 'cause you told me to. I want to find it myself, take control, but I can't help you, so I won't even try. You're all alone, yes, all alone. Hold my hand straight through the fire, losing all feeling, blistering and burning. But I cannot find a way to help this feeling find a meaning. I could just have looked away, but it's biting, teething, and I'm barely breathing. A way to help this feeling find a meaning. I could just have looked away, but it's biting, teething, and I'm barely